know what? Let's just do it. Let's review Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 3. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and today I'm reviewing a single issue comic book. I don't do this often because trying to keep up with single issues while they're relevant just means you got to read stuff at like midnight and rush a video out, and I never really want to do that. So instead, what I usually do is my sort of quick take reviews in the community tab. But I had a few extra minutes and I was like, you know what? Let's talk about this issue. This issue is pretty good. So this is Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 3, written by Cody Ziegler with art by Federico Vincentini. And I want to give a special shout out to the colorist on this issue because the colors, and I don't even know who the colorist is, but okay, Brian Valenza. Brian Valenza handles colors on this issue, and I think he just deserves a special shout out, and I'll talk about it a little bit later. Now, quick warning. I try to keep these reviews as spoiler free as possible. I'm not going to spoil the ending or like super pertinent details, but I am going to go over the plot of this issue because, I mean, how else are you going to review a comic? So I'm just letting you know, we're going to talk about that. If you don't want to know anything about this book before you open it up yourself, then this might not be the video for you. But I just wanted to highlight just how much I enjoyed this issue of Miles Morales Spider-Man. So if you've been following the Miles saga since we got the reboot, 2 months ago at this point, basically there's a new villain that seems to have Miles's number. In this issue, we find out her name, but there's a new villain who knows who Miles is and is using that information to target the people that Miles loves and cares about the most. So that's going on at the same time as Miles is sort of investigating this other villain. That again, I'm gonna try to keep this as spoiler free as possible. But in the first couple of issues, what we've seen is Miles going up against Scorpion, and the criticism that we've had for Miles, or the community has had for Miles books, is that they just don't feel different enough from Peter Parker to justify their own existence. He's fighting old, second-rate Spidey villains and so on, right? Miles doesn't have his own rogues gallery. He doesn't seem to have his own origin. There ain't nothing out here for Miles just on his own, right? And I think Cody Ziegler very smartly is addressing that from the beginning in this run. And so we've been getting the slow tease of this new, very sinister villain who knows something deeply personal about Miles and has a vendetta out against him. And in this issue, we get the origin of this new villain, and her name is Rabble. Now, I'm not going to spoil like the entire crux of her origin because I do want you to read it for yourself. But we start out the book in flashback pages. And what you should know is that this run has been incredible, or the art in this run has been incredible through 2 issues. And it's incredible again in issue 3, right? But I was like, for a second, I was like, yo, what's going on? Like, this art isn't as good as, the art had been in the first 2 issues. And then I realized after a little bit that that's because what I was looking at before was a flashback sequence. And as soon as we get out of that flashback, the tone of the book changes. Even the feeling of the paper changes. I don't know if it was just how they printed it, but all of a sudden the pages feel a little bit more glossy. Like, I'm just like, yo, this is dope. But what we get at the very beginning of this issue is like the slow walk origin of Rabble, why she's got it out against Miles, what her motivation is, and it is very, very compelling. And I said this in my quick take review, but I just wanted to say it out loud because the crux of this of her origin is I don't want to like completely walk it out, but it's interesting. Like in minority communities, we value education as like the way to sort of equalize, right? We've always been told, especially for me as a black kid in the South, it's always been like, look, go to school, get your degree, get a good job, and you can make it out of the whatever situation we're in and into something way better for your kids, right? And this this origin kind of takes that idea and also exposes some of the flaws in that idea, because everyone doesn't have the same opportunities, even if they are as gifted, even if they work as hard or harder. Some things are just left up to chance, and that's a flaw in our current education system. And the way that that issue is tied into this series is something that I thought was just really smart. And a lot of times comics get like, flack for kind of ripping stuff straight out of the headlines. Like, oh, there's an immigration caravan coming from Mexico. Was that a thing? Did that actually happen? But anyway, there's a caravan coming from Mexico, and now there's a caravan in the Superman book, and so on, right? And that's always been like something that or at least for the last 2-3 years, I've been seeing it, and I've seen the criticism of it. This feels like it's not that. It doesn't feel like preachy. It doesn't feel like, a heavy handed statement. It's just like, hey, what happens when a kid that's discarded by the system realizes that they've been a victim of that system? And what if that kid was radicalized in a world where there are superheroes and supervillains? And it's like, okay, I'm down with this. Um, we always give Marvel credit for being like the world outside your window, right? And the fact that all these Marvel books are set in real life New York City. So the fact that the origin of Rabble feels very much like something that would happen in present day real life New York City is just bravo, Cody Ziegler, because that was just dope. So hopefully I didn't spoil too much. I did give you a warning, but I just thought this origin was really smart. And then you go from that, really smart and serious origin into a classic action-packed Spider-Man issue. And let me show off some of this art once again. I've already told you guys this is like the best art on comic shelves right now. It's Federico Vincentini artwork. But we've been seeing Miles team up with Misty Knight for the last 2 issues now. And it's just, man, is it just great? Like, it's just great. And so Miles is about to come face to face with this villain, and it sets up a pretty great showdown for issue 4. And I'm excited about it. But this book has like all the classic Spider-Man tropes of, kind of being just a step behind, being just a second behind, a little bit down on your luck, and having perseverance and fighting through it, while having the whole issue of balancing your social life and your family life with superhero life, um, while being young and hip. And the dialogue is great. It doesn't feel forced like it's felt in past runs. There's not enough praise I can really heap on this book without spoiling it. Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 3. I gave this a 9 out of 10. There is like just one instance of dialogue where it just was like, I don't know. It just felt very like 1950s cartoon villainy. And I was like, all right, like that probably could have been done a little bit better. But man, it's a great issue, an almost perfect issue. And I'm officially saying it. Miles Morales Spider-Man, the run by Cody Ziegler, is the best book featuring a Spider-Man on shelves. Like, that's just where I stand right now. So this has jumped to the top of my reading piles. Whatever Miles comes out, I'm reading it, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the direction of this run. Do I think it's going to be groundbreaking for the character? I don't know, but it's going to be fun to read, and that's all I care about, because I think comics are dope. So if you didn't already, check out the Miles Morales Spider-Man run by Cody Ziegler. Go back, Pick up issues 1 and 2. If you got to do it on Comixology, whatever, just read it. It's good comic book storytelling, and we need more of that in the world today. So that's my review of Miles Morales Spider-Man issue number 1. I'll see you in another video soon. Until then, make sure you read something dope today. Peace.